Jenny, when you're looking at Snapchat, it's hard not to be astonished at how well this one has performed over the past few months, getting back to levels that really we haven't seen since the first couple weeks of trading in Snapchat's brief history.
Yeah, Alex, you make an excellent point there because I kind of thought a few months ago Snapchat was going to be the long goodbye. I mean, we all remember the days of MySpace, and it seems like in the social media space, people are quick. I mean, they're brutal to rule out these social media companies because trends are so evolving and constantly changing. But you mentioned they're down 2% today, but they are up nearly 54% year to date and nearly 7% month to date. So they've done a really good job kind of capturing this market share during the stay-at-home orders and during this time when everyone, of course, is on their phones more. However, when you do look at the bigger picture in social media, they are still a laggard in this space in terms of daily active users. So Snap is actually the smallest social media company, coming in at 229 million active users. This compares to Pinterest, which has 322 million users, and then Instagram, which of course is owned by Facebook, has 1 billion global users, and Facebook is the largest of all the social media companies with 2.6 billion users. Now, to compare this to an even more interesting name, TikTok has 800 million users worldwide. And I believe a few months ago we talked about on this show that Snapchat appears to typically a younger demographic. Now they're in trouble a little bit here with TikTok because 41% of TikTok's users are aged between 16 and 24. So kind of stealing away, it seems like Snap's target audience, which I believe could be a really big problem for them in second quarter. However, there are a couple other things to watch. They have, of course, daily active users. They're expecting to add about 10 million this quarter compared to 13 million in the same quarter last year. And they are expecting to see pretty consistent revenue growth. The street is forecasting 13% year-over-year revenue growth in the second quarter. Now, another thing the street is watching very closely, of course, with social media and names across the board is the international market. How can they really spike growth outside of the US, which I believe will be a huge revenue driver for them going forward. However, when it comes to competing in this space, they really have to do something different to, of course, compete with their Instagram stories and now their TikToks. So they did announce a new feature. They confirmed they're testing a new experience that allows users to move through Snapchat's public content by swiping in a vertical motion, which I guess is a gesture that's been popularized by TikTok. Now, I don't have either Snapchat or TikTok, but this seems to be at least their attempt to kind of get into that space and again, grab some of their younger audience it seems like TikTok has stolen, which kind of goes into my first tweet, which says, gonna need Snap to pop off after they announce earnings on Tuesday. Confident they will with the report they are trying to replace TikTok with their new feature. Now that's the feature I just mentioned. Again, I don't really know how closely that means they'll be like TikTok, but this is at least an attempt. Now our next tweet is a little bit more trading focused going into earnings, which are of course after the bell today. So our next tweet is from Mindset Trader who says, Snap, love this stock. Many good plays in the books for me here, but I can't see this rising on earnings. So the market maker move, the last I checked, was about $3. So despite the fact that they could have strong revenue growth, maybe strong earnings based on the last few months, this person is basically saying that they may not rise on earnings, which is the case we've seen a lot with earnings across the board. So Kevin, how do you go about trading them?
You know, this is a name. When you trade smaller numbers, you have to look at percentages. Like case in point, a $3 move in this name is not a big number overall from all the stocks we look at, but it's more than a 10% move in this name. That's massive in terms of percentages. Now, full disclosure, I don't feel, Jenny Horn, that I am in the demographic of Snapchat, clearly. But here's really the question, Jenny. Are you too old for Snapchat? Is Jenny Horn too old? Are you out of the Snapchat demographic? Please say it isn't so, Jenny.
I think I am too old.
Oh.
I know it pains me to say it too.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, guys, when you look at Snapchat, and especially as you try to figure out how it navigates as a publicly traded company, not just a social media name. But Jenny, great information, a lot for us to unpack here. As always, appreciate you joining us, Jenny Horn, contributor across the network. As we say goodbye to Jenny, we're going to welcome in Landon Swan, the co-founder of LikeFolio.com. See what you got here to add to the conversation, Landon, because this is one that has always been a head scratcher for me in terms of, what is this company going to be able to do to continue to engage its users, but ultimately monetize these users and make them, ultimately something that, even Twitter struggled to do it. So how is Snapchat going to engage the user enough while also, getting ad dollars that aren't intrusive?
Right. I think that's the key. That's not intrusive. So I think Snapchat, primarily it used to be all about chatting back and forth. And now I think that they're trying to get in more into the discovery game, kind of like TikTok. And I think that's where you can show ads that aren't intrusive. I do think that the whole TikTok, conspiracy about invading your privacy could be good for Snapchat. I mean, there's a non-zero chance that TikTok gets banned in the U.S. and obviously that's going to be a boost to all other competing companies, including Snapchat. But when we look at how Snapchat did over the quarantine, yes, we have data that shows about what they reported, up about 20 to 25% in usage, but it's really poor compared to their peers. Jenny mentioned that they're a laggard. That is what we're showing absolutely. When you combine, we look at Facebook, Facebook Messenger, Instagram Stories, WhatsApp even, Pinterest. We're showing an average of about a 52% increase in mentions, whereas Snapchat was in the low 20s. And as far as consumer happiness, we've actually got an average across all those competitors around 62%, whereas Snapchat's around 51%. So they had a golden opportunity where people were forced to stay home, get on social media more, talk to their friends, that kind of thing. And yes, there was an increase for sure, but it was way less than all of their competitors, way less than everybody else. And for a company that's losing money, that is not what you want to see. You want to see them take advantage in a big way of this opportunity, and they really didn't do it. They do have the younger demographic. I think they're around 90% of users under 24 report using Snapchat, or people under 24. A lot of teens, very few adults, maybe 1 in 4 adults are using Snapchat. So they're just not doing a great job as far as converting what could have been a golden opportunity. And the users that they do have don't have money. So you're talking about teenagers. Teenagers really don't have money. And so it's harder to advertise and get users to spend if you're targeting people that don't have a lot of money.
Landon, I think you just hit on something that's incredibly important with Snapchat, and it was the last thing you said. Most of their users don't have money or don't have disposable income. Let's put it that way. If they're doing something, buying something via Snapchat, they're asking their parents to buy something via Snapchat. And that could cause some hesitation or some worry about the online platform. So I think that is holding them back. I think the TikTok news is very positive for Snapchat. This stock has run a long way, but still, that said, all this being brought in, they're still not expected to make money this quarter. They're still expected to lose money anywhere between 9 cents or the whisper number of about 7 cents in losses for the quarter. So this one at best is tricky. That said, they've held in there when frankly I wasn't sure they were going to hold in there. So I give them a fair amount of credit for staying viable in when I thought they made some catastrophic mistakes early in their lifespan, guys.
Yeah, Landon, I got a question for you real quick. When I look at these ones, it kind of comes back to how when I open Welcome You In, and I talk about how these ads can be placed kind of in these different platforms. And this is a conversation I know we've had several times, but I want to, as these platforms evolved, I want to know from your guys' perspective how that has impacted consumer sentiment for these different platforms, but also just in general, like, is there any other way for Snapchat to make money? Because when I look at how ad, penetration and the intrusion of that, Snapchat, if you're going to go on there, you're doing that to, talk to your friends, your small set of social circle. It's usually a more personalized message from when I remember using it. Instagram's much more, you're checking in on celebrities and influencers and your friends, and you're posting things out for the world. It's kind of like a little, let's say a collection of the life experiences that people have. something like Pinterest, while it skews to a different demographic, has a clear mission. When you go on there, you're looking for things, you're looking for ideas, you're looking for things that potentially you might buy or make. And that makes sense for why an ad might be there. Facebook, we know its success story that it's had in terms of ads, but Snapchat, what ads ever really make sense on Snapchat unless they're able to evolve this platform into something more like TikTok, where it has more, famous influencers on there, but it just doesn't seem to be catching on.
I think that's exactly right. I think that the Pinterest and Instagram model for advertising works because they know what you're interested in and they can show you ads that don't bother you. There's been many times where I've looked at ads and I've been appreciative of the fact that there's an ad there, right? Most of the time, that's not the case. But if you're going to have that experience, it's usually on a site like Instagram or an app like Instagram or Pinterest, where they've got your interest and they're showing you stuff that they know you like. Snapchat is not like that because, like you said, you're talking to people one-on-one or in groups, and they're not going to mine that data to see what you're interested in, or at least I hope they wouldn't. And then they have to go the route of TikTok, where they're showing you a broader thing, a more of a discovery angle. That's where you can get some ads that actually target people that are interested. We've seen a big drop off in happiness from Snapchat users as they started rolling out more ads because they're of the intrusive variety. And that is 15 years ago internet. You cannot just throw up something that you make someone watch, a sort of a pre-roll mentality where you have to watch it and put your time in and then go on to the thing that you want to see. That is a bad user experience, and that's going to cause users to go away. They can't go premium. There's no way that teenagers are going to pay for Snapchat. So it has to be ads, and it has to be in a way that is not intrusive. So far, they haven't figured that out. I love the fact that they're trying to figure that out, going around the TikTok sort of method. And maybe that can be something in the future. But right now, they've tripled since their lows of COVID. They're up at basically all-time highs. They're doing well because the tide is rising for everyone, but they're the worst of the group, and in my opinion, they're overpriced here.